Hello, Essex Police, what's your emergency?
Yes, hello. I think there's a burglary taking place right now.
Can you tell me what's happening?
Yes, I have seen one, maybe two naughty people breaking into a house. Both of them wearing big dark jackets and really thick padding.
Of different things. What you're mainly going to see today is the exciting stuff, the biting stuff, but the dogs are also trained to track for persons, search buildings or open areas for persons, and that can range from a vulnerable missing person all the way down to like an 8-year-old child who's potentially gone missing, or a suspect who's maybe made off and gone to hide in the woods. The dogs are also trained to find property that's been touched by humans, so anything with human scent. If someone has discarded some keys maybe, or some jewellery they've stolen, the dogs can use their noses to find that for us. So that's our general purpose dogs. I'll talk to you about our search dogs as well, which you will see during this demonstration. The safety briefing did cover everything, but one thing I would like to reiterate is there are going to be no gunshots today. It says in the safety brief that there might be gunshots, but because this is a dog show, we don't want to upset any dogs, so there will be no gunshots today. Apart from that, if you can just make sure that little ones, kids and dogs, just stay away from the barriers as best as possible. If any dogs of our police dogs do come to you, they shouldn't do, but if they do, just remain still and calm, and Hannah will come and get the dog back. But hopefully we'll be able to show you a little bit today as to what we do in our day-to-day work. The dog section attends around about 10,000 incidents every year. We always have dog handlers on duty, and obviously we work 365 days a year. So you can see a variety of different dogs today, of different breeds, ages, levels of experience. As I say, the first two are very, very new dogs, so this is a big ask for them today to come to an environment like this, with a lot of people watching them in a very unfamiliar environment, so we're asking a lot of these dogs. What we're going to do now is we're going to show you how potentially we might deal with a public order scenario. So one of the other things our dogs are trained to do is to basically help push crowds back, deal with large-scale public order, so that's what we're going to show you now.
Hello, Essex Police. What's your emergency?
Yeah, you need to come quick. It's all kicking off down at the Dog and Duck pub. Massive fight going on. You need your lot down here right now. Someone's going to get hurt.
Okay, we'll get units responded to you as soon as we can. Can you see how many people are fighting, and have you seen any weapons?
There's about 100 people fighting, throwing bricks and stuff. I've seen some knives and I reckon forks too. Come on, we're at the police.
We've dispatched dog units.
So what we've got here is a horrible, nasty crowd of hooligans. That's it, let's have some boos for the hooligans. They're loud, they're rowdy, they've been upsetting people. There's been a call to a public order scenario. This crowd is too large for just a couple of officers to deal with. We've got Colin, the absolute hooligan, running straight towards the police van. And as you see, when we're out and about on the streets, there are times where people are rather horrible to us. And one of the tactics we can use is to deploy the police dogs to get them to push the crowd back. Now obviously with all of our stuff with the dogs are fighting people, we have to make sure it's sourcing our police dogs biting. With the biting that we train our dogs to do, there's obviously a huge amount of safety we have to put into it as well. So not only are our dogs just trained to bite, the criminals who they're trained to bite. I might start getting the crowd on a little bit, start pushing this. Dogs are trained to bite people. We tend to train them mainly to bite the arms. There we go. But we also do train the dogs to bite legs and anywhere really they can get to. But for safety reasons, we try to teach the dogs to bite the arms. The dogs will bite on command, but they also will use their own initiative. If they feel they are under threat or their hand is under threat, then they will decide to do the bite themselves. We also train the dog to do something called a standoff, which is basically when we send our dogs to bite someone who's been rather naughty, that criminal looks over his shoulder and sees that a big furry missile running towards him at about 30-40 miles per hour. The criminal hopefully will turn and stop. What we then train our dog to do is run straight up to that criminal and start barking at them, get them to stand still until the handler can get there and take control of the situation. And then the other thing, it's one of the most important things we train in our dogs, and also probably one of the most difficult, is something called a recall. Now I'm sure there's a lot of people here who have difficulties recalling their dog. It's made slightly more difficult with us because what we're asking these dogs to do, which is to go and bite those sleeves are the dog's absolute world. They love them, it's a favourite toy ever. So we are basically sending our dog to go and play their favourite game, which is bite the sleeve. And then it could be operationally that we send our dogs to do that, and I don't know, maybe the criminal crosses a road or a little child runs out. Well, we obviously do not want our dog to go anywhere near that, so at that point the handler has to do a rather loud scream to get their dog to come back, and that is part of our licensing. So when we do our 3-month training course, at the end of that 3 months, the dogs are then licensed with their handler to make sure everything is safe, and failing a recall is something that potentially could get us in trouble and our dogs in trouble. And obviously their safety is always paramount. What we're going to do now is show you some of the more friendlier dogs. So we've got police dog Chip and police dog Pablo. And they're going to show you how our search dogs work. So as you saw, the horrible crowd of hooligans that were on the field earlier, they're throwing some items, and for the purpose of this scenario, we have intelligence to suggest that those items, mainly the bags, might have some naughty stuff in it. Now both police dog Chip and police dog Pablo are what we call drugs, weapons, cash dogs. And quite simply, they're trained to find drugs, weapons and cash. In some of these bags, there might be some of those items. PC Pitchford here, as you see, he's just raised his hand because Chip is just indicated on the bag. What we do is we train our dog, and if you look at Pablo over there, hopefully very soon he'll be indicating when that bag, oh no, that bag hasn't got anything in. But when the dog does find something, the dog will go still, it will stare at the item, and that will indicate to the handler that the dog has found something for us. Now, the reason we use these dogs, right, so what you will see in a second is an indication from Pablo. There we go, that freeze and stare. Pablo should theoretically hold that position until his handler, PC Pollard, rewards him with a tennis ball. Let's have a round of applause for Pablo and police dog Chip. So yes, with the search dogs, their favourite toy in the whole world is a tennis ball. Very simple, it's a tennis ball. With our general purpose dogs, it's what we call like a ragger or maybe a ring, that we can have a game of tug with. But for the search dogs, they just love a tennis ball. They will work for us for the tennis ball. When we're selecting our dogs that we're going to use as police dogs, one of the things we are looking for is that dog's drive to want to work for the toy. If the dog is willing to keep working for the toy, then we can train it to pretty much do anything. The reason we use the dogs to find items like this, obviously officers could go around and have a quick nose in the bag, but with, for example, some of our explosive dogs, we don't want officers rooting around in bags. We also have something called forensic recovery dogs, which are dogs that are trained to find, I'd be careful of the crowd here because I have to be PG, blood and other human liquids. Again, we don't want officers fiddling around with that for forensic purposes as well. But the reason we use the search dogs is that, so all of us here, we all have something called olfactory sensors in our noses. That is it's something in our heads that basically when we smell something, goes through the nose, goes to the olfactory sensors, tells our brain what that smell is. Dogs have them as well. If we were to take ours out and lay it into like a surface, it would cover the space of this A4 piece of paper here. If we were to take the dogs out and lay that out, it would cover the size of a football field. So it's absolutely huge. Their sense of smell is so much better than ours, which is why we can train them to find for items that we wouldn't ordinarily be able to find. Okay, what we're going to show you now is how we potentially might deal with armed robbery. So, we have our general purpose dogs, but some of them are what we train as tactical firearm support dogs, and they are dogs that will help our firearms colleagues to deal with things that might be more of a higher threat, i.e. firearms, axes, swords and stuff like that. So enjoy this one. So for those of you who can't see on the other side, we've just had a very horrible criminal.
Yeah, control tower, please. Steve, go ahead. Yeah, we should bring a firearm
Let's have some booze for those horrible criminals.
Boo.
Yeah, please. Any dog units marching? Set 2-3, show me attached. Any bigger details? What we have is a license bag, possibly freedom to carry on transit, is on the very sketchy
So I appreciate it's quite difficult to hear what's going on the sort of our radio, but essentially we've just had an armed robbery. A very nasty suspect who's got out of his car armed with an axe. He has threatened an innocent member of the public in the crowd and stolen her lovely Louis Vuitton handbag. He's now driving off in a vehicle, and because of the heightened level of threat, i.e. the axe, although any of our police dogs can deal with it, we potentially might be using our tactical firearms dogs, who maybe might be a little bit more experienced in company with our firearms colleagues. Okay, so what we've got here is one of our firearm support vehicles and one of our dog vehicles behind them. As I say, we work very closely with the firearms teams because obviously we can utilise our dogs to search buildings, also to apprehend offenders. There might be times when use of a firearm isn't suitable and maybe a taser is not suitable. So what we can potentially look to do is to utilise our dogs. So what you'll see now is a firearms team will put some challenges in with some firearms. And then PC Pitchford, along with police dog Max, one of our more loud and barky dogs, is going to be deployed, and hopefully that'll be enough for the criminal to give up. Ultimately, we always want the criminals to give up. We don't want to necessarily send the dog to fight them. However, if that criminal is unwilling to give up and is a threat to the public, then we will look to deploy the dog. And there we go. So we've got police dog Max got hold of Colin's arm. With our bites, if you look at the dogs when they're biting, what we try and encourage is dogs to have a full mouth bite, so that whole mouth around the suspect's body part. The dog will remain on the bite until the handler tells them to come off. What we don't want the dog doing is biting and biting and biting and biting, not dabbing all over the body. We want the dog to bite and hold. And then with our tactical firearms dogs, we will then train the dog to remain on the bite whilst the firearms team comes in, as you can see there, get the subject under control, and then we can call the dog off. So let's have a round of applause for police dog Max, PC Pitchford, and our very lovely helper, Colin. So a lot of you might have seen Colin here before, if you've been to some of our shows before. Colin works very closely with the dog section because for some strange reason, he absolutely loves getting hit by our police dogs. Okay, once these vehicles are off, I'm just going to give you a very quick talk about our retired police dogs. So, dogs get to a certain age and we will look to retire them. There isn't sort of like a set date in mind. It really depends on the dog and looking at how healthy and fit that dog is. If we think that dog's starting to slow down and maybe getting a little bit old, then we'll just look to retire it. Now, these dogs have given a lot for us. We want to make sure we give them the best life as possible. Unfortunately, they don't then get paid. They haven't got a retirement pot with Essex Police, and insurance companies will not insure retired police dogs. So, I'm going to welcome onto the field some very special dogs now. At the front there, you've got police dog, ex-police dog, retired police dog Baloo. We've got retired police dog Roscoe, and retired police dog Copper at the end. Now, just a couple of things about these particular dogs. What I would like to say is retired police dog Roscoe turns 11 tomorrow. So let's have a round of applause for retired police dog Roscoe. Obviously, retired police dog Copper was one of our search dogs. And the dog at the front there, which you might have noticed looks a little bit different to the others, is retired police dog Baloo. I'm just going to tell you a very brief bit about Baloo, and then at the end of our display we're going to come around with some buckets so we can try and raise some money. The retired police dogs were set up by a bunch of volunteers to raise money to basically help our retired dogs when they retire. It was set up in 2012, and since then they've helped 60 of our retired dogs and have paid out over £84,000 on operations and stuff like that for our dogs. So if you could give generously, that would be great. To sort of tell you one of the things they try and help with, so retired police dog Baloo. Baloo was actually my first dog. She was proving herself really, really well, really good dog, very capable dog, and sadly, about 6 months into us being operational, we were basically trying to catch some chaps that had stolen a car, and one of the cars managed to run over Baloo. Baloo ended up having to have her front leg amputated, and her back end is pretty much all titanium. Now, it was very sad, really horrible, very difficult thing to deal with at the time, but as you can see, Baloo has made an incredible recovery. Baloo is now, in Essex Police we have a few of them, but Baloo was our first welfare dog. So Baloo goes around and sees other officers. She goes to schools, to fire stations, to scout camps, stuff like that, to basically show people that you can go through a really horrible, tough time, but sort of still come out of it the other side happy. Baloo is one of the happiest dogs you'll meet. And the Retired Dogs Fund were one of those that helped us and helped Mandy with the recuperation of Baloo. Baloo now regularly attends hydrotherapy, very kindly given to us by Richard College. But yeah, any money that you can donate at the end of our display will go all to our retired dogs. Obviously we don't see a penny of it, but it will all go to our retired dogs to try and give them the best chance of a nice happy retirement, but these dogs give so much to help protect you guys out on the streets. So just a quick round of applause for our retired police dogs, please. Okay, next up is something that we haven't tried at one of these displays before. Well, we used to many moons ago, back probably when I was still wearing nappies, but we're going to try it today. What I have here is a magic box. Now, there is a belief that dogs cannot do magic and cannot tell the difference between colours, but because ours are police dogs, they obviously are a little bit more special, and they have superpowers, shall we say. So what I'm going to do, I need to find a young child, and I want you to pick a colour for me. Which colour do you like? Green, yellow, red or blue? Green, right, lovely. So, we're going to go for green. Now, what we've got is this contraption here. This is very magic. And we are going to put these lovely toys here. So these are similar to the waggers that we use. Hopefully you can all sort of see over there. But I'm going to put these in the box. And we are going to show, right, red, green, yellow, blue. And we're going to show what dog we got up first. Police dog Obi. So, we're going to show police dog Obi the green flag. And miraculously, what he's going to do, hopefully, is go in the box, come out the other side with the green toy in his mouth. So, good luck, Obi. There we go. There we go. Round of applause for police dog Obi. Have we got someone else who needs another colour? Red, blue or yellow? Red. Right, we're going to go for the red one now. We're now bringing on Police Dog Cooper. Hopefully, Police Dog Cooper's coming in. So again, Police Dog Cooper is one of our newest dogs. I believe Obi's got his first ever shift tomorrow, and Cooper's is Tuesday. Yes, his first ever shift. Right, you're going for red, Cooper. Got a red flag. Okay, right, fingers crossed this works. There we go, round of applause for Cooper, look at that. Okay. Little man there in the white top, blue or yellow? Blue, right. Bringing on Police Dog Obi again for the blue one. Let's see if we can get 4 out of 4. Blue Obi is blue. Yeah, round of applause for Obi. And last one, obviously we've got the yellow one. Yeah, Obi has got a bit of a habit of trying to wind his handler up. But so we've got 3 new dogs you might have seen on our Facebook page. PC Johnson was like the face of social media at that point. But we've got 3 new dogs. Quando is the other one who's sad he's not here today. You good to go with Cooper? Right, last one is the yellow one. Let's see if we can get this one as well. We'll have a big round of applause if he does. There we go, huge round of applause for Police Dog Cooper. So yes, that is how police dogs can do magic. Okay, so whilst we just prepare for the last part of our display, so we're doing another display at 2 o'clock. These first ones are normally our sort of like, it's a warm-up one. We're just getting the dogs used to it. Obviously it's a very strange environment for them. So if you come back at 2 o'clock, even if you've seen it then, we've got a few added extra things, but it should hopefully be more polished, hopefully. So one of the things that dog handlers like doing the most is going out and chasing cars, really. That's sort of our bread and butter, I guess. Going out chasing cars. These might be cars that have been stolen. They might be cars that are linked maybe to drug dealing or burglaries. And because we sort of deal with the nastier, the higher level sort of criminals, a lot of them don't like to stop for us. So what we do get quite often is some pursuits with these vehicles. So what we're going to hopefully show you now, once all the cars are ready, we're going to have a group of very nasty, naughty criminals in our white suspect van. And once all the handlers are ready, which I think they are, hopefully they are, then we will begin our final part of the demonstration. the suspect car comes past you, I want some loud, very loud boos, please.
I didn't know that was coming.
So with most pursuits in Essex, if one of our other colleagues from another department is pursuing a vehicle, they will always try and call for a dog unit, because if the person is willing to make off in a vehicle, there's a very high chance that they're not going to want to stand and give up at the end. So a lot of them will then get off and run. And the best thing to use to catch someone who's running away from the police is our police dog. This is not. I mean, if this happens in real life, then we're laughing. Okay, so I would imagine our criminals are going to come to a standstill now. I'm well and truly going to move out of the way for this. Okay, so let's see what police dog we've got coming up first. Right, so one of our criminals is out of the vehicle. I can't hear what's going on, but I can imagine it is, I don't want to talk to you, I'm going to run off. And there we go. We've got Colin running off with Police Dog Cooper. Right here, round of applause for Police Dog Cooper. Okay, so what will happen now is his hand has gone up to the dog. We do want to get the dog off at the earliest opportunity, and we don't want to cause unnecessary injuries to the subjects. So what we'll do is we'll be talking to the subjects who've been detained, tell them to stay nice and calm and still, and then when we need to, we will then pull the dog off, and hopefully the dog will come off. Hopefully. There we go. Big round of applause for Police Dog Cooper. Lando, that is not Cooper, that is Lando, I do apologise. We're just going to wait for Lando to get back on his lead and Colin to make his way off the field. Next dog I believe being deployed is going to be Police Dog Kylo. Kylo's handled by PC Barnard. That criminal is not hanging about and she's running off. Biting time, there we go. Again, those dogs will hold the arm until we get control of them. Darren's taking a big step back. There we go, huge round of applause for Police Dog Kylo. Kylo's a couple of years old now and he's been out on the streets for about 2 or 3 years. Yeah, a lot of the dogs that we've got here today are actually some of our more younger dogs, so our less experienced dogs, but so far they all seem to be coping very well. Right, I believe we've got 2 more criminals who are going to run away from us. I think Colin decides to run again. As I say, he loves being bitten. Right, who we've got there? That's Police Dog Buddy. Now, Buddy looks a little bit different to some of the others. The others that you've all seen today have all been German Shepherds. Buddy is what we call he's a Dutch herder. And I will tell you now from personal experience that dog bites very, very hard. With the sleeves that you see, like the brown ones, round of applause for Police Dog Buddy. With the sleeves that you see, they're hard, they've got like a hard plastic inside, so they're not too bad, but I promise you now that we're wearing these jackets, although they are thick and they are padded, it hurts a lot being bitten by these. Lovely, and last but not least, we have Police Dog Obi is going to be deployed. When our last criminal, who I believe has actually escaped from jail, hence the orange jumpsuit, so we definitely want to make sure we get this chap. There we go. Big round of applause for Police Dog Obi. And look at that, straight off back to his handler. What the handler will do now is have a really big fun game with the dog to say, well done, you've done exactly well what you do too, and everybody's happy. So, let's have another big round of applause for Police Dog Obi. Yeah. Okay, I wondered where that was coming from. Right, so that is the end of our demonstration, guys. What we're going to do now is we're going to have a very quick walk around with our police dog, just